And that is a redwood, right? We are literally in the redwoods here. Look at that lighting. Look at those light patches. This is amazing. I got here in the dark, so this is my first time seeing it. It makes my Jeep look like a little Tonka truck. They're so large, so tall. And all these ferns. And look how mossy this log is. All this moss. Moss and ferns. Look at this tree right here. This living tree. Yeah, it's just covered in moss. There's a river right over here. This place is a vibe. This is borderline arousing. This place is So we camped in the Redwoods last night, that was on my list. My goals for this trip were to camp on the beach at least once, and in among the redwood trees, or sequoias, at least once. So we've accomplished the goals. That campsite was honestly awesome. I got there in the dark, so this morning was my first view of it, and man, there's literally a redwood tree like 5 feet away from my tent ladder from my front porch. Just surrounded by them, and the ferns and the moss. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Backtracking about 10 minutes to the last gas station, fill back up, and then hop back on the Redwood Adventure Trail. These groves of trees like this are a lot like in desert canyons, especially certain desert canyons, like Coyote Gulch. Most desert canyons. It's just like it's so peaceful. It almost feels sacred. Like there's just something about it. And I thought that feeling that I get just very peaceful to my soul. It's such like a sacred feeling almost. And I've never felt that anywhere but a canyon, desert canyon before. can tell these groves of sequoias and redwood. Like, this place is just... Video does these. As usual, video doesn't do anything justice, but does not do this place justice. It's just such like a peaceful, almost sacred feeling places. It's mossy and it's so long. Look at this. It bends. And then we got these. So this tree's burned inside, but there's moss growing. And the contrast of the green moss and the black in the burned part is really cool looking. This tree survived. Look at that thing. Look how mossy it is. Just covered in moss. And those crazy branches. Look how cool that is. These trees. This is so cool. Look at this thing. What is going on here? Look at this thing. Totally covered in moss. Even ferns growing on it. I can't even handle this tree right now. Look how cool this thing is. Totally covered in moss. Even has little ferns growing on it. Look at this thing. If that's not a vibe, I don't know what it is. So beautiful. At this point, I'm hooking back onto the Redwood Coast Adventure Trail from overlandtrailguides.com. If you haven't heard of this website and never been to it, I would highly recommend it. They have all kinds of routes across many, many states that are very well made, very well curated. They do an awesome job with photographs, YouTube videos, GPS files, terrain, obstacle ratings, fuel provision locations, alternative routes, camping locations, discovery points, permits and papers if it's needed. It's just an awesome wealth of information website. It kind of just takes you through the more rural parts of California here, this particular trail does, while avoiding the main tourist highways that most people would take, which is much, much more of what I like to do. I didn't end up following the full route, trail by trail, waypoint by waypoint exactly. That wasn't really the plan. I kind of just used it for a framework of taking me through the more rural, less visited parts of California versus just following Highway 1 like most people do. It basically mirrors Highway 1 just a little further inland and just much more scenic, much more out of the hustle and bustle type routes. A lot of dirt roads. I think this particular route 60% dirt, 40% pavement. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I would definitely recommend the Redwood Coast Adventure Trail. we just hit a private property sign. And it wasn't too far up the road here. I don't know, probably like 25 minutes. 10, 15 miles. I don't know. Not too far. There's been private property signs along the sides of the road the whole way up, but this one was a gate. The gate was open, but there's blatantly posted entering private property. I didn't want to risk it, so more than likely it's a ranch. More than likely the road itself is not private property, and they just haven't posted, legally posted, to keep people out. That's the most likely, but there is the chance that it is private property from there on, even the road, because this looks like a county road to me, or a forest road, whatever, a public road. There is a chance that it is private property though, and I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to be that person, so we're just going to backtrack back to the highway, follow it around, hook back onto the trail up here, see what that looks like. So I was just going down the road here and a huge pop. It was my sway bar, my Terraflex sway bar broke. The sway bar itself didn't, but one of the two bolts holding the linkage onto the sway bar and connecting it to my axle, there's two bolts that clamp around the hexagonal shaped sway bar, and 2 bolts snapped. The only thing I can think is they've been bent, stress fractured from rock climbing or something, and they just finally gave out. But it wasn't too big of a deal. Just took the linkage off, and gonna have to live with no rear sway bar for the rest of the trip, which is annoying but manageable. Could have been a lot worse. Could probably fix it, honestly, if it was just the bolts that broke. You could just get new bolts at a hardware store, but the linkage, there's like a top piece that clamps around and connects the linkage to the torsion bar. That thing flew off with a vengeance. That's what I heard snap. And bang, flew off, dented my exhaust. Big old, pretty good dent in my exhaust. It had some power behind it when it flew off. Who knows where that thing is now? Long gone. So I'm gonna have to wait till I get home to get another one of those from Terraflex. This particular day, I was having a really hard time deciding where I wanted to stop and stay. Originally, I was gonna stop and set up camp clear back on top of that mountain where I had those previous drone videos a minute ago. Then I decided to keep pushing, and then I couldn't really find a decent looking spot that I liked enough, so I just kept on pushing, and then kind of just ended up here, driving through these redwoods in the dark. I probably should have stayed, because I bet this drive would have been a lot cooler in the daytime. I probably missed a lot in the nighttime like this, even though it is a vibe driving through here with the rain just pouring. I ended up just pushing all the way through to Klamath, however you pronounce it, California. Just a little ways, I think it was like 30 or 40 minutes south of Crescent City, so right up near, pretty close to the Oregon border. I ended up just pushing pretty late and getting a RV park KOA type thing right on the coastline there, and it absolutely dumped rain on me the entire night. It was pretty relaxing though, honestly, but this was the first night where it really dumped on me.